Welcome to this episode of Beers from the Basement. My name's Fred. I drink beer. So today's show is, I called it 2005 mostly. I have 3 beers from 2005 and 1 beer from 2006. I had a 2004 of that one and a 5 and a 6, but no 5, and I went with the 6. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently today. I'm going to do it in 2 sections, 2 beers at a time, because just to make it go with 4 beers, it probably would take forever. So the first 2 beers I have are 2005 Sierra Nevada. I have a Celebration Ale, and I have a Bigfoot barley wine. And I actually was just going to go with the Bigfoot, and when I was reaching for it, I saw the 2005 Celebration, and I figured that's a sign. So I'm going to start with the Celebration. Not much of a hiss. This far back, Sierra Nevada used, for some unknown reason, twist-off caps, which I would love to know what the rationale was on beers like Celebration and Bigfoot. So let's give this one a try. There is not a lot of carbonation, which is kind of what I'd expect. And color, it's a little hard to tell. So it looks a little. You can't, maybe I'm holding it up to a light, and I can see it's maybe a little murky. Nose, I get some sherry, and I'm getting a banana ester, which is weird. I wouldn't expect that. That just might be my interpreting something else. Well, it is as I'd expect, very oxidized, but in a nice way. It's sherry notes, and not much bitterness left, and a little bit of sweetness. So let's try the Bigfoot. Again, not much noise when I open. Now, I got to remember to save the cap, because there are people supposedly on eBay who will buy those for insane sums of money for a used cap. So let's see what the Bigfoot looks like. It's color is very similar. It's maybe a little bit clearer. It's a little bit darker, which I would expect. That's the Bigfoot, and that's the Celebration. So Celebration, Bigfoot. Much more malt coming through in the nose, and a little bit of sherry. Whoa, that's yeah, that's a Bigfoot. Much more malt, sweetness, malty sweetness, and I say no. I mean, obviously the bitterness is there, or else it would be cloyingly sweet. A little bit of bitterness is coming through as it finishes up. Go back now. I'm seeing a little bit more carbonation. Maybe I just have a dirty glass. Try and keep my glasses clean, but every once in a while I miss. They're definitely different beers, which to be expected. The Celebration, let's see if it says the alcohol on here, for at 6.8%, and the Bigfoot It's usually more like 9.6. So, well, anyway, I'm going to enjoy these for a bit, and then we'll see. They're a little bit cold. I took them out of the fridge a little bit before, but maybe not quite enough. They're still maybe a little too cold. So I'll let them warm up a bit, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and if you recall, I'm drinking a 2005 Sierra Nevada Celebration and a 2005 Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. I'm really liking the Bigfoot. The Celebration is okay. It certainly, I'll finish it. It's not a dumper. 6.8, you know, normally my rule of thumb, and there's no scientific evidence for this, but it's like 7-8% is the minimum alcohol you want to age. You know, there are exceptions to that, but on a general case. So this is a little bit less, and I actually didn't intend to age this. This was a case I bought, and I drank about half of it back in the day, and then it got obscured by something else. And when I was hunting through doing my archaeological excavation, I came across it, and it's like, oh, okay. So it is, you know, it's very drinkable, but a fresh one would be much better. It's not badly oxidized, but it is oxidized, but there's not much. It's lost all of the hop character, which is kind of what you what you buy Celebration for, is to get that big upfront hops, and it's obviously lost that. And there's still some bitterness, and there's a little bit of maltiness, a little bit of malt left. But it's just kind of, it's not as interesting as I'd like. Whereas the Bigfoot still, to me, tastes like a Bigfoot. It's mellowed out, obviously, quite a bit. You don't get the hops that you get in a fresh Bigfoot. But there's still bitterness there, and there's a nice malty sweetness in the finish, and some oxidation. Now, I'd like them both better. They were carbonated, and if I ever had a chance to talk with the Sierra Nevada folks, I would say, like, what the hell were you thinking? I mean, I could see maybe on the pale ale they have a twist. I mean, the only reason they have a twist off is you're going to be somewhere without an opener, and you're going to drink from the bottle, because if you have a glass, you have an opener. So to me, it seems the market would be, you know, yeah, I'm going to pop one and drink it, you know, like I'm tailgating, or I'm, you know, camping, though why you would lug glass all over. But you're somewhere, and you're doing street drinking, you know, so it's in a paper bag, and you're kind of disguising it. But you might do that. I would never do that to the pale ale, but someone might. But you'd never do that to the Celebration nor the Bigfoot. I mean, those beers deserve a glass. So, but I guess it was cheaper to have one style bottle. And I don't remember when they switched. They did somewhere along the, and we may discover this in our journey together. One of these days I'll grab one, and it's like, oh, this one's not twist off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish up the Sierra Nevada, and then I'm going to open up the next beer and overlap it with the Bigfoot, because they're probably more, I don't want to say comparable. These are obviously the same brewery, so it made sense to do them together. But they're not normally beers you would kind of do in sequence. And I'll give you one more look. You know, I can't tell whether you can really tell the, if I tilt them a bit, the Celebration is definitely lighter than the Bigfoot, as it is in, you know, when they're fresh. The Celebration's really a very dark amber with a little bit of red hint, and and the Bigfoot is very dark brown. So, so that's going to be it for this for now. I'm going to enjoy this one, and I'll be back with my next beer, and I'll kind of compare it to the Bigfoot. Okay, I'm back, and if you remember, I'm still drinking the 2005 Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. And the next beer I'm going to kind of pair with this, and I'm doing these, I'm inventing these as I go along, so I'm just trying something different. So I happen to have a 2005 Thomas Hardy's Ale. Now this is the post after, and I'm having a senior moment, after it was stopped brewed by Eldridge Pope, and then for a while there it was the Thomas Hardy Brewing Company which used Eldridge Pope. This is brewed and bottled by O'Hanlon's Brewing Company, Wimple, Devon, England. 8.5 ounces, 11.7% alcohol. And for those of you who are tracking, this is bottle number P07437. The bottles are individually numbered. And of course it comes with a little fancy tag, which I'm not sure what the purpose of. Oh, I should probably peel the foil first, but there it did. There was a little bit of a hiss there. It was kind of hard to hear with the banging, but I saved my nice little, there's probably a technical name for it, but my medallion. So let's see. It's got a nice color. It actually looks similar to the Bigfoot. Now this is an 8.5 ounce bottle, a nip, as they call it. That's a bit darker, or at least a bit less transparent than the Bigfoot, and it's not as cloudy, and it's obviously got carbonation. And it smells like malt, which is what I would expect. Nice, a little bit of kind of, I want to say roast, but a little bit of dark malt, dark caramel in there as well, which I'd expect when I fogged up the glass. Oh, that is good. That is very good. Tastes like a Thomas Hardy, still in its good. I'm going to use my little medallion to keep the glasses straight. So, Thomas Hardy, Bigfoot from the same year. Obviously, Thomas Hardy or O'Hanlon's did a better job of packaging, because I didn't use, excuse my language, goddamn twist off caps. It tastes like a Thomas Hardy. There's some oxidation, lots of malt, some bitterness. Yeah, I like the Bigfoot until I tasted. I like the Bigfoot till I tasted the Thomas Hardy. the Thomas Hardy is, excuse me, the Bigfoot is kind of paling. Mainly, I think it's the lack of carbonation, and it's more oxidized, which you would expect. The twist off cap, I don't think, is as good a seal. Yeah, no, if I'm remembering back, I had a 99 Thomas Hardy a few weeks ago, which was the last one brewed by Eldridge Pope, or at Eldridge Pope, and this one's held up, so that's 6 years later, and this one is, I think, more enjoyable. Well, it's less enjoyable, it's a smaller bottle. The 99s were 12-ounce bottles, at least the ones I have. So, well, I will finish off the Bigfoot and try not to finish off the Thomas Hardy, and I'll be back. I have a Thomas Hardy story. It's not mine, but I'll tell it anyway because I think it's a funny one. So I will see you in a bit. Okay, I'm back with my 2005 beers. Now I saved a little bit. It's hard to tell, but that's the 2005 celebration. And after these other two, it's you know, it's drinkable, but I had a hard time finishing it. And then my next beer was the Sierra Nevada, also 2005 Bigfoot, which compared to the celebration, I really like. It's got very much a Bigfoot flavor to it, but it is a little oxidized. And the third beer I'm having so far today is a 2005 Thomas Hardy's Ale, and this is outstanding. For a 15 or 16-year-old beer, it's very nice. It tastes like Thomas Hardy. There's a big, nice, enjoyable malt sweetness and some bitterness and some caramel, dark caramel, like the caramelized sugar, and a little oxidation, but not as much as I would expect. I'm sure if I drank a fresh one next to it, it would be noticeable, but it doesn't. With the Bigfoot, you definitely notice the sherry. With the Thomas Hardy, it's you know, it's maybe there, but you have to look for it. Now, my favorite Thomas Hardy story is a British friend of mine who has a sort of a side business of. It started off selling. You know, he would buy Thomas Hardy. He would gather up Thomas Hardy's at Thomas Hardy's ales and he'd sell them on eBay. You know, obviously he would make a profit at it. And one time he said he went down to Dorchester, I think it was where the brewery was, Eldridge Pope at the time, and had a bunch of flyers printed up, and he handed them out. You know, he stood on the corner, stuck them under car winch, and I don't know what all he did, you know, but the kind of things you do, you know, gave kids some money to hand them out. And it said, basically, if you have Thomas Hardy, I'm buying. Figuring that there were lots of people whose, you know, father, relatives worked at the brewery and they had some bottles, but they weren't, you know, that they had saved, but they weren't going to drink. And it worked well. He got a whole lot of 1968 was the first year they brewed it, I believe, and it was a quart bottle with a cork in it. And he actually got a bunch of those, and I was at a beer festival with him, and he brought that out and a couple other beers, a 1957 Princess's Ale, I think, from Bass or something. I'm remembering the dates. But I got to taste the original Thomas Hardy, and it was still very good. And this was probably 10, 15 years ago. Certainly over 10 years ago. But the interesting thing was he got a call. You know, he had listed his mobile phone from a guy who said, well, I was the production manager for Eldridge Pope for, you know, a long time. And you may have heard me, remember I mentioned the bottles actually have a serial number on them. And he says, I have bottle number 000001 for, you know, this period of years. They're not for sale, but if you ask nicely, I'll let you come over and look at them. So that was, you know, to have a 0001 bottle of Thomas Hardy, that's something I would, I'm not sure I'd pay for, but, you know, if I was digging in somebody's basement and saw that, it was like, oh yeah, I just won big time. And if you leave a comment, I'll see if I can get his website. I talked to him recently. His website is down. In fact, I often offered to talk to him about resurrecting it. But he used a service, you know, a hosting service, and he didn't really do it. He just put in some information, and it sort of built a website for him. And then that company went away, and so he has no copy of it. So. But if you search for Thomas Hardy on eBay UK, he's probably the one who sells the most. But if I'll see if I can what I can mention and put it in a comment. Okay, well, I've got one more beer to drink, and who knows, maybe two. I'm going to finish off the Bigfoot. And then I'm going to add another one to the set, to the Thomas Hardy. And I'm sort of breaking, this will be the 2006 beer, because it is, I couldn't find it, I guess I didn't buy any in 2005. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. By the way, somebody asked what's to say on my sweatshirt. So it's 366 of 818, founding member. This is from 818 Brewing, which is up in the San Fernando Valley, and I was one of their, you know, they were having a fundraiser, and the first 818 people to back them got founder status, which gives me all kinds of perks. But they're way up in the valley, and I never get up there. So about the only perk I took advantage of is I got a discount on a very nice hoodie. So this is my beer drinking hoodie. So we're back with, and by the way, their beers are very good. So if you should come across them, be sure and enjoy them. Be sure and have one. So I'm finishing up with my Thomas Hardy 2005. So I should show you the glass. I have a little bit of Bigfoot 2005 left that I will, in an old Rasputin glass, which is sacrilege. And then I'm going to the next beer is a 2006 North Coast Old Stock. And I have 2004 and 2006 and a number of other years, and I don't remember, but I guess I didn't buy one in 2005. Maybe it came out late, or maybe when it came out I was traveling. Who knows? Alcohol 13.25%. That's actually stronger than I remembered. So this is stronger than the Thomas Hardy. Brewed and bottled by North Coast Brewing, Fort Bragg, California. And so I don't know that Thomas Hardy was an inspiration for this beer, but it reminds me more of, you know, Thomas Hardy. People call it a barley wine, but it really is an old ale. An old stock is pretty much an old ale as well. So, nope. Trouble with the caps today. I didn't hear much hiss there, so we'll hope that it's not too flat. So we'll give it a try here. Color at this point looks pretty much like the Thomas Hardy. It is a little bit carbonated, probably about the same level as the Hardy. Nice malty aroma. Little bit of oxidation. Not much. Less than the Bigfoot, more than the Thomas Hardy. And flavor-wise, it tastes like, should be careful here. So there's the old stock and the Thomas Hardy, and pretty close in color. The old stock tilted a little bit. Maybe you can see the old stock is maybe a tad lighter. It's a tad lighter brown. Not much. So it's good. Much more sort of dark fruit notes to it, you know, raisin and prune, I guess, dried plum. Dried plum sounds better. Prune's always, to me, evokes bad things. Mainly because my mother made me eat prunes, you know, as a kid. But we won't go there. That's too much information. And maybe some dark berry in there, but dried fruit in addition to the malt. It's very enjoyable. It would be hard for me to, I'd be hard pressed to. The Hardy is definitely sweeter, quite a bit sweeter, which surprises me. The old stock being much higher in alcohol. But I guess that's more, you know, it means it's drier, it's more completely fermented, so there's less residual sweetness. Guess I should try my little bit of Bigfoot. Yeah, and the Bigfoot is not, it's still not bad, but these two are much better. And I'll blame that on the twist off bottle. I think with a decent bottle cap, the Bigfoot would be in there with these. Yeah, it's I say it's the Thomas Hardy, though, I think is the winner. The old stock so far is a close second, but the Thomas Hardy is Thomas Hardy's is held up better, even though the old stock could be, you know, anywhere from a couple of months to 18 months younger, depending on when it was bottled. But I have a case, pretty much. I mean, case minus a few bottles of the 2006. So it'll be coming. One of these episodes will be, you know, a bunch of old stocks, you know, big as range as I could fit in without falling over. And I have probably most of a case of the 2005 Thomas Hardy, so at some point I'll do a Thomas Hardy tasting as well. I'll schedule that for days where I don't have anything planned for the weekend, because this is hard. This is hard work. Hope you viewers appreciate how hard this is on my liver. It's a good thing I don't have anything to do on Fridays or Saturdays. So I'm starting to ramble too much, so I'm going to take a break here, kind of finish these up, and I'll come back with some closing thoughts, and depending on the time, maybe one bonus beer. So see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. I'm just finishing up my 2006 North Coast Brewing Old Stock. Got to get this. Still not used to this camera stuff. I'm enjoying this. I think this is though number 2 after the Thomas Hardy. But it's still very good, and this is a beer I've always liked. So I think I'm going to stop at this beer today, but I will show you the next beer I had in line, and we'll get this on another edition. This is a 2006 Anchor Our Special Ale, also known as Anchor Christmas. Again, it's not a beer I would normally, and I'm just trying to think whether they have the alcohol percentage on it. It's normally not a beer I would have aged. Back in the day, I would buy a 6-pack or so every year, and this was one that just is a 6-pack, and I don't see any alcohol percentage on it. It's not very high. I mean, it's 5 or 6%. But I would buy a 6-pack or so, and this just happens to be a leftover bottle. Again, when I was looking for some other ones, it was like 2006. That's almost 2005. So, but I think I'll hold that for another day. So I think this is call it a night. Please, if you like the video, click on like and hit the subscribe button. I gotta say that I'm up to 23 subscribers, from 19. So, at this rate, I'll probably die before I get to a significant number. But that's all right. I'm having fun, and I hope you're having fun. So we'll see you next time. Take care, have a good weekend, and good beers to you.